Massachusetts artist Shawn Farley creates sculptural assemblage works that give new life to obsolete foundry molds and other found objects. Sourcing materials from flea markets, junk dealers, and the internet, Farley collects intriguing pieces that might otherwise have been lost to time. Once in her studio, these items become building blocks for the artist's imaginative constructions. By embracing chance and trusting her keen artistic instincts, Farley constructs clever compositions that take on human qualities and adopt their own personalities. As the artist says, her works assume new identities and an evocation of something soulful. The exhibition Chance Encounters Mixed Media Constructions by Shawn Farley will be on view in the Star Gallery at the Michelle and Donald D'Amour Museum of Fine Arts through March 7, 2021. In this excerpt of a museum's a la carte lecture, presented on December 17, 2020, Farley shares information about artists who have influenced and inspired her.
I have many influences, artistically speaking. When I first started making art, I was particularly interested in the surrealists, especially women. There were women in the surrealist movement. This, as you see here, there's Remedios Varo, Leonora Carrington, and Dorothea Tanning. And I felt these women really spoke to the feminine psyche, be it nurturing or not. And I have to say, many of these women weren't recognized at the time because the surrealist movement was dominated by men who really felt that the women artists should be their muses, the men's muses for making their own art. And so they weren't really recognized for their own contributions. However, I did find inspiration with the male artists from the surrealist movement as well. Artists such as Max Ernst, Giorgio de Chirico, and Joseph Cornell. And the thing about the surrealist movement was the practice of automatism, which is creating art without conscious thought as part of the process. Something I really gravitated towards because it was, again, really not having any meaning in mind as I started the work, but just from chance placement, meaning kind of derived from that process. Surrealism can either be abstract or figurative. My work combines both. Figures that are abstract in construction and meaning, but also painted in an abstract manner. My aim is that if I were to flatten the 3D sculptures that I make, would it work as an abstract painting? So as I mentioned, I'm inspired by the surrealist artists such as Giorgio de Chirico. Recently, however, I've been, in addition to the surrealist artists, I have also leaned into what the Russian avant-garde artists were doing, approximately from 1890 to 1930. Of course, there were movements within these movements, such as constructivism, suprematism, and futurism. So before I go any further, I'm going to just offer you a little art history on what all these movements are. Because when I took a group of folks to see the exhibition, those were exactly the questions they asked. So surrealism, I'm going to move this panel down here. Surrealism was developed in Europe in the aftermath of World War I and was largely influenced by Dada. The movement is best known for its dreamlike visuals and the use of symbolism created largely by automatism, releasing the potential of the unconscious mind. Cubism, happening around a little before that, or around that period, but a little before, was a revolutionary new approach representing reality invented in around 1907, 1908 by artists such as Pablo Picasso, George Braque, They brought different views of subject, usually objects or figures, together in the same picture. As you might see in some of my work, it kind of is inspired by that movement as well. Suprematism, not a lot of people know about this, was developed by Kazimir Malevich in 1915, characterized by simple geometric shapes and associated with ideas of spiritual purity. Constructivism was added a more architectural element to the artistic philosophy. Tatlin, Rashenko, and Lyubov Popova, a female Russian artist, developed lots of work from in that vein, kind of austere, really reflecting the modern industrial society and urban space. And then futurist painting was really kind of started by some Italian artists, Balla, Baccioni, and Severini. But it was later adopted by the Russian artists as well, and they kind of created their own movement. This is a Cubo futurist painting by Kazimir Malevich, sort of demonstrating the fragmentation of form associated with futurism, as well as the abstract geometry associated with cubism. So now you have a sense of all those movements which kind of influenced my work. So here's the work of Kazimir Malevich, again, a Russian avant-garde artist. And this is my work. So you can see the inspiration is pretty obvious between the two. And then this is the work of Lyubov Popova, the woman Russian avant-garde artist that I'm a big fan of. And this is my work. So her work, my work. And the one on the right is in the exhibition. Then this is the work of Fernand Léger and Joaquin Torres Garcia. Fernand Léger was a French cubist painter, and Garcia was a Uruguayan artist whose works incorporate elements of both cubism and constructivism. And this is my work. And all three of these pieces are in the exhibition at the museum. Definitely the palette, I totally was inspired by them for these works. And then there's the work of surrealist artist Victor Bronner, whom I adore. He's just, if you're not familiar with his work, be sure to check him out. Just beautiful, crazy paintings. And this is my work. Again, definitely inspired. Particularly the palette, I would say, definitely inspired by Bronner.